plan. But basically, he has not gotten to that level. So I learned that though it is good to be ambitious, but at the same time, to have peace of mind, we should grow at our own pace. Like our mentor you always tell us and always say that the best way to get rich is to get rich slowly, not being pressurized to something that, though we might have that plan in our plans or in our vision board, but we should not be pressured into maybe there's an opportunity that and having considering all our options that it's like this thing that I want to double into. Am I really right for it? Thinking over that session that day, it has given me a lot of peace of mind, because I'm a very restless person and since that day I've learned that one should not be pressured to, though we might have a lot of plans that that we want to do, but taking it once after the other, not being pressured from external forces to do something that we are not fully prepared for. And many of us do it like impulse buying, like buying things that we have not really planned for, that we have to plan and do it at our own pace. And by doing that, our mind will be at peace. Even the business that we are trying to build or grow will not suffer. Thank you.
So in summary, what like program say, when you use those going to actually follow and they are going to really pay. So you don't trying to talk about when you develop yourself, you gradually ensure that you don't put pressure on yourselves. Nobody, you are the only one that can compete with yourself. You don't need to compete with anybody. So whatever you know that you cannot actually attain now, as not even part of your goal, don't try to run after it and get yourself broken. Thank you very much, sir. Yes. Thank you very much. Put the hands together for him. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Gbolahan. I'm a fashion designer. Basically, I do business. My testimony is I kind of like to support the inmates. So the first one is a financial aspect. So in the financial aspect, I've been able to follow the savings method, and my business too. I try to practice the art of Kaizen, that is making small improvements day in day out. So basically every month we try to add a little thing. If it's a sewing machine, if it's a weaving machine, even if it's in times when business are slow, even if it's just a barrel, at least in a month we try to add something. So that has greatly improved us. At least we are not where we started, so basically that has improved us. So in also my own personal life, when I wake up, I don't see my prayer life. I just start ready to the activities. But recently, when I wake up, I try to brainstorm, have my own quiet time, and also I try to just reflect and practice the art of gratitude. So I realize when you practice the art of gratitude, there's a lot of room to be grateful. So when you practice the art of gratitude, you get new ideas, because it is when you respect that you get new ideas. So lastly, I've been able to open a money market account. So basically, when I go online, when I see people talking about complain about their finances, how they are able to earn so much and save so little. But thank God for the that we earn so much now and we are able to save so much now. So that's a way that we so thank you so much. So thank you very much, sir. At the back. God bless you, sir.
My name is Adedembo Adeyinka. Yes, some of us here, we are trying to catch up, unlike the young ones. trying to follow our mentor. So I'm trying to catch up on three things now: savings, reading, and time management. So before coming here, unfortunately, I had problem with sleep in the past. So waking up this early is not, it was very difficult for me. But thank God, things are, I'm better now. So I'm seeing it that waking up after 5, it's like the time is not, it's no more enough for me. So my plan now is to wake up around 4. I think our mentor always say that 4 o'clock, sleep 6 hours. So I'm trying to meet up with that, and I think I've been trying. The second one is savings. Yes, I will not say I have not been saving before, but I think there is savings and there is savings. So these savings of our mentor, saving for 7 years, not touching it, I think I'm starting lately. And I think it will not be, it's better late than never. The third one is about reading. I do read, even as far back as 19, sorry now, I think 1989 or so, I've written this article in Guardian newspaper. I wrote articles then. But then, the kind of reading, I read novels. But now I found out that reading, you have to read every day. That's one thing I learned too. In the past, I can read in a week, I may not read more than once. But now I know that you have to read at least 1 hour every day. Those are the things I think I'm trying to catch up with. Thank you very much.
Able to receive different testimonies. We just have the GSC, we have the millionaire, and the great. So we have different testimonies from different categories, and with that, I think you'll be able to pick exactly, starting the morning, your day, out of gratitude. From there, you plan your day. From planning your day, you talk about your savings, talk about reading, you have to increase. At the same time, whatsoever is not in your plan, don't try to be like someone else. I think we gotten it all this morning. We have a kind of summary of the way we should just live our life financially. Yeah, we touch all areas of our lives. Thank you very much. I'm sure with the testimonies, our tutors will be glad to even give us even more, because they know that we are not the type of people that look at ourselves in the mirror and forget exactly about it. But when we go home, we reflect on what we have taught, and from there we pick it up and we work on it. So I'm very, very grateful. So thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for that session, testimony session. Yeah, I have a testimony and I have something else. But I'll quickly share the testimony. It's about gratitude, you know. It's very easy to give gratitude when you just made some millions, some million just rolled in. So when you're about to sleep, Father, today, it's very easy. Unlike when you had challenges back to back, but I've learned to always give gratitude to God, no matter what happens to me. So the testimony is going to be short because of time. I've been giving gratitude, about my family, my children, my business, and all of that. 2 days ago, I don't have rats in my house at all. I was sharing with our coach the other day. I've never seen rats in my house, and please don't send one, I beg. But we have cockroaches. I can't do that now. So I got a sniper and I mix it with kerosene. Somebody told me it works, and I think I've done it once or twice. So I did it, and all the cockroaches died the following day. So I guess when I now wanted to keep the sniper, I guess I didn't keep it properly. So I went out. My wife My wife is a nurse. She did night, so she came back home the following morning, and she was a little bit tired. So I guess she was sleeping. So my almost 2-year-old came into the room. She was sleeping or doing something else. So she went straight to where we put the sniper. She opened it, but I guess something did not allow her to drink it or some. I don't know what happened. Before my wife just, looked towards our direction and screamed. She called me screaming on phone and I was driving. I was like, calm down, check. Is it smelling in her mouth? She said, I've checked, women. She was panting and all of that. But I kept my cool because she sent me to go and fill the gas. So I made sure I went. Because I know I have been thanking God for the things He has done, for the things He's doing, and for the ones He's going to do. Even when I have other things happening that may want me not to give gratitude. But lo and behold, she did not drink anything. But of course, she gave us some, first aid stuff. So God is always watching our back. But we shouldn't forget to keep giving Him gratitude for the things He has done, the ones He's doing, and the ones He has not yet done. Just thank Him in advance for those billions coming in. Those billions, they're going to eat your account. Clap for me now. Clap for my testimony. Thank you. So quickly, before I call on our speaker for today, anyone, I saw this quote and I just want to, wrap around it. Anyone can fall off a ladder by accident, but nobody climbs a ladder by accident. Did you hear that? Anyone can fall off a ladder by accident, but nobody climbs a ladder by accident. So let's be intentional with our actions. So as we're coming here, we don't just come to take note and throw it somewhere, then the following month, intentional. Nobody climb a ladder by accident. You have to be intentional. They put a ladder there. You have to go there and climb it, but you can fall off a ladder by accident. So let us always be intentional with whatever you do. You set goals intentional. You don't just carry paper and start writing stuff. So I don't want to push this too much. Let us be intentional. As we are about to listen to the speaker for today, I'd like us to be intentional. Let us open our ears and be intentional by putting down those powerful points that are going to go back home to work on our businesses, to work on our lives. I've been intentional about so many things in my life. I was working in a paid employment before. A couple of years, I saw my finances and some other things put together, and I was intentional. I had to resign. No fight, but I had to resign. But today, the story is different because I was intentional. It wasn't an accident. I didn't just carry paper and say, "Oga, me too, shame." And 2 weeks after, "Oga, job, mistake me." No. You have to be intentional. So as we are getting set, I'd like to do this quickly. Tell somebody sitting next to you that today is going to be wonderful. I'm going to learn something fantastic today. Okay. Can we have, okay, don't worry. Let me do it from here. Today, I have the privilege. Okay. I want to do this before I introduce the speaker for today. Couple of minutes back, somebody walked into the hall and we know her, but I want to specially recognize her presence. I'd like us to clap for Mrs. Olajumoke Paxton Martin. I hope you know her. She's our coach. She's our coach. And we love her so much. Thank you, Ma, for always being a blessing. We appreciate you. Okay, so our speaker for today, this is a privilege I'm the one doing this. He's no other person than Dr. Gbolahan Adebayo Yusuf. Dr. Gbolahan Adebayo Yusuf is a medical director, healthcare innovator, a business coach. Dr. Gbolahan Yusuf is a distinguished medical professional, entrepreneur, a speaker dedicated to transforming healthcare in Africa. He holds a medical degree from the University of Ibadan and the University College Hospital, along with certifications in leadership and management global health, project management in global health from the University of Washington, and health financing policy for University Health Coverage, WHO, as a chief medical director and the CEO of Siloam Group of Hospitals. He leads a cutting-edge urban secondary healthcare facility in Lagos, Nigeria. His leadership has driven a passionate advocate for mental and child health. Dr. Yusuf organizes health outreaches, programs for pregnant women. Yeah, I witnessed the last one he did. Offering education, subsidized care, and empowerment through Siloam Medical Center. He also trains traditional birth attendants and local midwives, further strengthening community-based healthcare. It contributes, its contribution earned Siloam Medical Center recognition as the most effective business by SME Nigeria. I think we can clap there. Let's clap, please. Beyond medicine, Dr. Yusuf is a renowned speaker, a business coach, and a facilitator at platforms like 110 Academy and the African Business Summit. He specializes in personal development, entrepreneurship, and mindset transformation, inspiring professionals and business leaders to achieve their peak performance. Added performance. Yes. Dr. Gbolahan Yusuf seamlessly integrates healthcare innovation, leadership, and philanthropy, making a lasting impact on individuals and communities alike. With a standing ovation, I'd like us to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Gbolahan Yusuf. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning once again. Like I say every time, I'm always happy to be here. Can you hear me at the back? Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's been a wonderful 2025, right? How many of us are enjoying 2025? You are balling. Yes, it's been. And I think our topics have been very strategic. We started by talking about affirmations, writing affirmations, the magic of writing affirmations. And then we moved on to building your business is positioned for success if it actually solves a problem that a lot of people need the solution to. Are we together? And then we say that, and we've taught here that when you are developing this, you also want to look at what are you are solving, who are the people you are solving these problems for, where are they? And sometimes it determines the location of your business. Am I correct? Now, when you start the business, especially depending on the kind of business, if it's a business that you can actually start as the only staff, you probably would start that way, right? Except you've gotten some funding or you have a lot of money or you come from a family that, they'll dash you a lot of millions. You get what I'm trying to say? And then when you start, most likely you are the front end, back end, middle, marketer, accountant, legal, HR, right? You do all of that. But at what point do you start to get other stuff? Anybody? Now, at the point where your business starts to grow and you realize that just you cannot meet the demands of your customers. Are we still together? Now, well, some people start, and I know you might even had the experience before, or you have people who have done that because they have a lot of money. They put all the money in a business, they employ everybody they need to employ, and soon they run into problems. Why do you think is their first problem? Because they've not even run the business to understand the business, understand what it needs, builds a culture. You understand? When you bring people together, you have to tell them what to do, how to go about it. And it's a business you've not done before, and you go and employ a lot of people, you bring different minds together, and then there's chaos. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So you start that way, you determine what your business is about, you determine what the approach is. You understand? What is your strategy? How do you get to take a larger percentage of the market share? How do you ensure that there are other people around that is doing the same thing? How can you position yourself differently that the customers will want you and not them? Do you get what I'm saying? I hope I've not lost anybody. Yeah, so when you've determined that, or you've actually read, like our president before venturing into hospitality business, he bought 10 books, read them and found 2 that actually resonates with him, and he believes that's the model he would like to follow. He believes that those are the ones doing better, and he learned all those things. And then when he put people together, he gave them the book. I think the managers actually gave them the book to learn the things. Now, why am I trying to go this way? There's a point in your business when you start, majority, not all, where the business is just you, or sometimes it might just be you and your family members. Maybe your wife, the children too, or the son is part of it. Yeah. Growing up, myself and my mother ran our shop. Do you understand? Because is it cheap or free labor? It's not free labor because I'll eat now. Do you understand? So it might just be you. But there'll be a time you need more people. And that's when you start to bring those people together, we say you are forming a team. Right? You are forming a team. And the team is meant to amplify or multiply your productivity. Is that not why you are bringing them in? If you are doing so well on your own and you start to bring people and your productivity drops, it means that you have not formed the right team. You now realize that you have more headache because almost every time you have HR issues. One person is fighting the other, or a customer is complaining about the other person. And that's why we say the first law of business is hiring the right people. And in fact, when you're hiring people, most of the time you look for people who can even do the job better than yourself, or have the potential after proper training to do the job better than yourself. When we talked about scaling, we talked about the fact that you cannot scale if the business is directly linked, the success of the business is directly linked to your presence. Do you understand? Because we say that success is goals, everything else is commentary. So if you know that from day one, this business, I'm not building it to enslave myself. I'm building it such that at a point in our journey, I can delegate roles to the people I'm going to bring together such that I don't need to be there. You know, that's going to determine the kind of people you are going to hire. Do you get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Your organization is a direct extension of yourself. Your organization should look like you. If it doesn't look like you, something is wrong. It means that your way of doing things, you've not communicated it well enough, or the people you have put together have not received it, such that what you do what they do when you are around is different from what they do when you are not there. Now, for every business owners and people that even work in organizations, I'm sure you would rather have a team that is working perfectly well, right? Working efficiently, rather than working with a team that when you wake up in the morning, you really don't want to go to work because there's one person there you don't want to work with. And as business owners, we owe it even to the members of staff to create a team that creates an enabling environment, an environment where they can thrive, an environment where they are happy to actually go to work. Because when you create that, then you have the real definition of team, which says that together each achieves more. So if your team is not fulfilling that, then there's a problem. If there's a problem right now, it's not a problem. It's fine. At the end of this seminar, you'll be able to look at what are the things I've done wrong and how can I correct it, and what are the things I've done well that is working. Sometimes you do the right thing, but you're still questioning it. You are not sure. For example, we say you hire nice people, right? You have someone who maybe is good at the job, she's good at the job, but she's not nice, and you have fired her maybe yesterday before or this morning before coming. And then you are thinking, was he right? Was he not? Maybe I should have kept her. Maybe at the end of this seminar, you will realize that you've done the right thing. Now, let's go through some quotes about a team to actually support some of the things I started talking about. Now, Reid Hoffman says that no matter how brilliant your mind or strategy, if you are playing a solo game, you will always lose out to a team. Do you understand? No matter how brilliant the strategy is, if it's just you that is doing everything, almost every time you will lose to a team, especially a well-formed team. Ellen Keller says, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. In fact, you're able to conserve energy of individual members of a team when you are working together. You get what I'm trying to say? Which is the reason why when you are servicing, let's say, 3 to 5 customers, you're able to be able to attend to them alone. By the time they become 20, you cannot. Because you start to drop the ball. You are just one person, you are limited by time, by even energy. Do you understand? And even availability. So together we can do so much. So amplifying, multiplying your effects, one of the secrets is actually forming a team. And then the last one, which is where I actually started from, building a team is like building a strong house. You need to start with a solid foundation and then add the right pieces in the right place at the right time. The first thing is foundation. We're talking about building a world-class team. To build a world-class team, you have to be a world-class you. Do you understand? You have to be world-class to build a world-class team. We've talked about law of attraction, right? Many times. Now, most of the things you seek, you actually get them if you become someone worthy of those things. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We talk about becoming a billionaire. Are you the type of person that deserves the billions? That's why one of the main things we talk about here is working on yourself to become that person such that you can now attract it. Because it takes a world-class you to manage a world-class team. In fact, to put together a world-class team. One of the things we say about highly effective people, high flyers, is that they are restless. They are go-getters. They want to move. Now, if you bring such people, but you are not that kind of person, you are not a high flyer, what happens? After a while, they look at you that this woman is limiting us. Let's go elsewhere. But if you have high flyers in your team, you are a high flyer person yourself, you guys are matching yourself, energy for energy, and you are going toe to toe, and then improving the business. So the first thing, and that's why a good number of things we are going to be talking about today, is what do you do to create a world-class team? So I'll say it again. To create a world-class team, you have to be a world-class you, because you are the foundation we're talking about. If you're building like this, if you're building a story building, a bungalow, and you're building a skyscraper, is it the same foundation? No. Not the same foundation. So depending on how do they determine the foundation? First, they determine how high the building is going to be. Which is why I'm saying that when you start your business, your question is, how many people do you want to solve their problem? How big do you want your business to grow? The beauty of what we do in terms of business is that, unlike when you are building, once you build the foundation, that's the end. The beauty is that in your business, maybe the foundation is the foundation of one-story building. And when you before you get to one-story building, because you are continuously learning, you are continuously developing yourself, what are you doing? You are continuously deepening your foundation. The roots keep going down. And as the root keeps going down, a consequence of that is that your building continues to go up. Do you understand what I just said? And that's why personal development is very important in what we do. So you build a team, the team looks like you. But then you've now decided, you've done me in 5 years. And me in 5 years is where we are now might not be able to get there. And then you start to study, you start to learn. And as you're learning, you also start to ensure that your team is positioned to be able to take you there. It's just naturally, it will grow and get there. Let's look at a few data on excellent teams, so that we're not just saying excellent teams. Let's look at what does the data say about an excellent team, such that once you have that kind of team, what are the things you should experience? The first one from Gallup, that's the source, says companies with high-performing teams experience 21% higher profitability. Your profit right now, would you like to increase it by 21%? Does anybody like it? Everybody wants that, right? 17% higher productivity and 15% higher employee engagement. Let's read all through, then we'll talk about them. Then Gallup also says that teams that are well managed and engaged. Who is the person managing and engaging your team? You are the leader. Yes, that's the world-class you. What happens to them? They outperform their peers by 147% in earnings per share. You know, when you say you've done 100% more, it means you've doubled your. So, yeah, you understand? So this is like 2.5, if I'm just using rough maths. You know what it takes to double what you've done? You know, think about what you're doing now, the numbers. Doubling it is something that is mouth-watering, right? Now, we're saying that teams that are well managed. So first is high-performing teams will do this. Now, if they're well managed, this is what you get. So it's not just putting the teams together, which is work and we'll learn. It's also to manage and properly engage them. And then lastly from McKinsey, high-performing teams are 2.5 times more likely to exceed performance expectations, and 2.2 times more likely to be innovative, and 1.8 times more likely to be agile. These are numbers that are beautiful, right? So it's important we focus our energy here, right? You know, anywhere you focus your attention, energy flows in that direction. So at this point now, we have other things we're doing in our organization based on the level where we are, which is fine. But building excellent teams is somewhere you should put your mind. Now, let me say something, we might still mention that later. One of the ways to manage and to engage is to ensure that the environment for these guys suits them to do good work, do excellent work. In fact, your job should be, good morning, how are you doing? How may I help you? Most times we say that to our customers, right? You should say that to your team. You have regular check-ins. You sit down, you understand, and say, how is the work going? One of the things we do regularly is we review month by month. And sometimes, depending on how high you are in the organization, weekly or daily. What are your goals? What are the strategies you are looking to implement your goals? What are your challenges? I'm always interested in those three things. Goals tells me that, okay, what you're trying to achieve aligns with what we're doing. Secondly is that you're not just putting goals and walking away. Have you thought of the roadmap, the connecting flights from where you are to what you want to achieve? And the last thing is, what are your challenges? Because that is where I can help you. You get what I'm trying to say? You understand? For example, we said, okay, we want to share 5 million to everybody who attends today's meeting. We don't tell anybody, just surprise. You understand? Then I come and say, okay, the president, we had a meeting with the coaches, the governors last week, and they said, for everybody who attends 5 million, they shared Lagos, Ibadan, collected their own, but they did not say anything. We told them not to say anything. Lagos collected their own. But right now, there's traffic. You know there's traffic in Lekki right now? Yes, sir. So the money is at the head office in Lekki. And then they are stranded. That's the challenge, right? Yes. The goal is to want to share money. Do you like the goal? Yes, sir. The strategy is that the money was kept at the head office in Lekki. But the challenge now is that there's roadblock. And once we leave here, there's no way we can gather everybody. I'm telling you, we might stop this seminar and the conversation is, how do we move that money from? And that's your job. They've told you the goals. You understand? Because you need to be sure that having spent time with them, which we still also talk about, they are already thinking about, okay, this is the umbrella goal of the organization. This is what we're trying to achieve this month or this year. So, and the roadmap is this, but this month, this is what I want to do towards getting there. And then they've also thought about it that, and that's what high performers do. They think about even before they come to you. Now, your own job is actually to help them achieve that. That's one of the ways you even manage them, because they now see that both of you are thinking the same way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And there are a few others, and then they are there. I don't want to get too far ahead of the seminar we talk about. But teams that are well managed and engaged, this is very important. They outperform their peers by 147%. Now, our teacher yesterday, Mrs. Cassie Martins, explained to us the difference between creativity and innovation. And it was wonderful. I don't know, maybe she has explained it to you before. No, it was yesterday I just heard it. So should I tell you? Yes, sir. You don't know it before? Yes. Okay, so let me share what you pay. One bottle water, 1 pack, ma. That's small thing, have you? Thank you very much. All right, so that's a joke. Now she says that creativity, you understand, is new ideas, bringing new ideas, generating new ways of doing things. That's it. But when creativity, generating new ideas, has commercial value, then it becomes innovation. So new ideas that will bring money is what? Innovation. The one that's not is just creativity. It's just there. Because sometimes people, you sit at meetings and they give ideas, but you know that there is no commercial value, at least to your business. So you don't stay with creativity. What you want is what? Innovations. So when you have high-performing teams, they're 2.2 times more likely to give you ideas that will generate funds. Do you understand? And that's why it's easy for them to actually outperform other peers in earnings per share. What are the benefits of work lasting? I've said some while explaining what we've talked about earlier, but first is increased productivity. I said when I started that starting a business is to answer a question, is to solve problems, right? So in order to solve problem, you're actually producing either goods or what? Services. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. Now, you believe if you or 2 or 3 of you will not produce as much as when you bring together a team of 10. Right. So first, bringing people together should actually increase your productivity. But when they are world class, you can predict that it will increase your productivity. The wrong team can actually reduce your productivity, might reduce your the effective way of answering their questions. You know, if in your business you're hearing, sir, you know, you people not used to be like this. So when we used to come, we do this, but like things have changed. How many people like to hear that? Nobody. Because once you hear that, that is a symptom and sign of a problem with your team. And your job is not to just say, right? There's no way you can satisfy. Never say that. Your staff can come and tell you, sir, you can't please everybody. Don't say that. Don't think that way. You need to find out, because that's a feedback. You understand? That's a feedback. And the beautiful thing about feedback is that customers that give you feedback actually love doing business with you. So loyal customers will give you feedback. And then you must be seen to receive that feedback in a positive way. A customer, if I'm your customer and I'm giving you feedback and it looks like you're not interested, or you're giving me the countenance like my wahala is too much, I'm going to stop talking. And it means that you don't value me or my business. What's going to happen? I'll take my business elsewhere. Even in cases where you know that probably, you have some customers. There are some customers that that are the sweet customers. They just come, do their business, smile at everybody and go away. But some customers, they are used to, that they're always cranky. Maybe there are customers that see time is important to them. And once they come, they're like, the guy is number 5 on the waiting on the queue, but he's already shouting that he's wasting, people are wasting So there are people like that. Even those people still need to be treated the right way. Our president has said so many times that people come to us for us to solve their problem and to feel good about it. You know that? If you solve my problem and you make me feel good while solving my problem, I will choose you 100 times out of 100 times over. Do you understand? So even those ones that have those issues, you don't then, because I like that. No. Once they give you feedback, it's important. Look into the matter. It might just give you an opportunity to solve a problem you did not know existed. Do you understand? So it improves productivity, increases innovation. I talked about that already. Higher job satisfaction. If they have the enabling environment, if they have an environment where that it's easy for them to do their job, you understand, there's a proper understanding. Let's say, for example, there was a story, I'm not sure if it was this seminar or somewhere else, I heard it, and a graphic designer, was employed by an organization. And then let's say he was supposed to resume 1st of April. I'm just using. And 1st of April comes and he did not see him in the office. And then the HR calls and say, Mr. Wale, I wanted to check on you. I'm wondering why you're supposed to resume with us. The guy says yes. I'm wondering why you're not at the office. He said, to do what? Because as far as the guy is concerned, I'm graphic. If you have work, send it to me. I'll design it and send it back to you. But the other guys are used to traditional way of working. If you are an employee, you resume. Now there's already a problem during the recruitment process because the proper questions were not asked by both parties. It's just an expectation because we are used to when we employ people. Now, such a person, if after of course, for them to have employed and they've done the recruitment process rightly, except for asking about remote or coming to the office. Now, if the guy is good enough, and then the guy will do his excellent job by sitting at home in his shorts, you understand, and doing their work. Now, it takes the business, you understand, adapting to that. Because if he's still productive, though he does not show up at the office, maybe at the end of the day, say, okay, maybe on Mondays you should come so that we can, have a meeting and have a rollout. Even some, now they say, let's do Zoom. You see, a lot of those guys are 2, 3, or 4 jobs, right? That's why they don't want to come. But if this guy is going to do his job and all of that, you can then, of course, allow him to go that way. You might just have your guidelines. These are the things we need you to do. These are your KPIs or your OKRs to ensure that we monitor your job. And the guy does an excellent job. That is going to get good job satisfaction. But when you start to force him, most likely, if he's still coming, maybe he needs the money for that month, he's already applying for a job elsewhere, where he will tell them that he's not going to show up. Consistently, high employee morale. You wake up every day and you are happy. When I joined Tolu Medical Center, which is one of the hospitals of Dr. Gbolahan, I sent him a message. I think after the first week or second week, I said, I wake up every day excited to go to work. I've not worked anywhere. Well, from NYC, I went to, and that NYC is a different story. Maybe I'll share it another time. But I told him that I wake up because it was exciting. First, I wanted to learn all that I was doing. So I was just like a kid in a candy store. You understand? But apart from that, those that I was working with, you understand? They were wonderful people. There are people who were doing this stuff. We're sitting down. I'm like, hospital. Goals, you understand? Targets, and then we're strategizing. I didn't know that they do that in hospital. Some of you are even far. When you hear it, you're like, targets, what they mean? They want to go and pack all the. But you know better that to achieve success, regardless of your business, you have to set goals. Do you understand? And it was the first place where I understood that setting goals, you will achieve it. Which strengthened my own resolve when I started my own thing. Because then they'll sit down, they say, okay, so this is what we want to do today and all that. Then I look at, we are 4 doctors. If I divide it by 4, this is my own portion. Do you understand? Then I sit down and say, okay, so if I do this, I get this here, get this here, I write it down. And I discovered that soon, before 12 noon, I've gotten it. And I'll be happy. You know how 12 o'clock, I've gotten anything that comes after that was extra. And soon, and this thing, I was less than 3 or 4 months with them. Soon, I think they needed to make some restructuring. I was supposed to be moved to another branch to allow a high performer to come and lead our branch. And they already announced that I'm coming to Ibadan. That night I went to think about it. My dad was late. I said, I'm going to leave my mom in Lagos and go. I thought about so many things. The next morning, when he came, the other members of the leadership team went to meet him and say, you said that we have some issues and you are bringing a high performer. You want to take our highest performer away. He was shocked. I was now told that he sent for me. So I was going there that finally he wants to tell me, because the gist that you are going was just, don't tell anybody that I told you. So I said, finally, he's going to now tell me that I'm going. But when I got there, was a different conversation. He was surprised, but he also was acknowledging what he has heard. And he was happy about it. And he was congratulating me about it. Do you understand? And that's how I did not go. I stayed where I was. What he did there was first acknowledging, recognizing. And my reward is that you stay where you are. And of course, you know that when the owner catches, of course, your story gets to him that you are doing very well, you know that your parts, everything after that is soft, right? Yeah. So I had good employee morale, and that, by virtue of that, affected my performance. Not, is it that no, we had issues sometimes? Maybe the MD will come and say, I did this, I did not. Those things will happen. There are one or two things, but it didn't change the morale because it was part of the learning curve. Now, two things you should take from that is first, the job was suited to me, right? And I was suited to the job. I was looking for where to learn. I found a place where they would teach me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So two things, and that's why we're going to move to the next thing in forming a team. The job is right. You also must do what I said. You must hire the right people. Because the processes, the systems might be good. But if you hire the wrong person, the person will come and make you look like you don't even know what you're doing. So then low staff turnover. If you have a lot of people if you're doing good stuff, your system is good, you won't have staff saying they want to go every time, right? But if it's a place that is like Fuji House of Commotion, some people won't know what I'm talking about. We know the year downward, right? But you understand when I say Fuji House of Commotion, that's important. Leave Kule Bamtefa alone. Now, if it's a house of Fuji House of Commotion, you find that people will be doing to your tent, O ye Israel, because they will come, will not be comfortable, and they will go. Because we are all looking for where we would have a nice time, even though we are working. We're all looking for a place where we feel good, where it's like a family. And then finally, higher performance. Now, let's start. How do we hire the right people? Now, I must say here that Dr. Abib's book, and I think that's chapter 5, A Great Way to Hire People. If you've not read this book and you are running a business, you love the privilege more than the principle. Do you understand? In fact, this is a book I read every year. And there's no year I read it that there's not I don't find something new. Because you know that when you read a book, what you glean from the book, what you get from the book, when you attend seminars, what you learn is in direct correlation with where you are. Do you know that? It's where you are. It speaks to your level and where you are going. The next time you are reading, you are not at that level again. New level, sometimes there are new level, new troubles. Do you understand? But I can tell you it answers all the questions regardless of the level you are. So I'm going to be saying some things from this book and also from a few other materials that we gather. So now, if you want to form a team or you need to fill a vacancy, what are the things you need to do? Now, the first thing is that you have to define that role. Now, and defining the role means that, okay, we have a vacancy for a front desk officer. What is the job description of that front desk officer? Excuse me, what are the qualities we need in the person to fulfill that role? Look at your organization. Can we spread some of these roles to 2 or 3 people such that we don't even need to hire? One of the things about scaling is that you also want to make your business as efficient as possible. You want to kill waste as much as possible, right? So sometimes we feel that the solution to the problem is to just throw money at it, employ, pay someone another. But you know, there's a risk of bringing in the wrong person. So this thing actually helps you solve 2 things. One, you don't even need to waste so much of money, because of course, when you spread the roles, the people taking up that role should actually get a pay that actually corresponds to their new role. Do you understand? Sometimes we make the mistake, we give them additional responsibility, and you throw it in your face as if you don't understand that. They say, okay, with this new responsibility, what is the additional? It might be in terms of cash or some other form of reward. You understand? So then the other thing is, at least you are maintaining your team. You are not likely bringing someone who might actually come and start to cause issues. So the first thing is you actually look within your organization. Who can actually fulfill? Who can we spread these roles, or can we promote from within? I learned that from him, and that's what I've started doing. When there's a role, especially a leadership role, who amongst the people who work in the same unit can take up that role? And that actually means that for every role, for every lead that you have, for every role a member of staff could actually perform, there should be at least 1, 2, or 3 others that can do the same thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Depending on your level, your stage of growth, if you don't have that now, I'm not saying you have failed, but then we have to start to think about it. So someone is working at the front desk, someone is working maybe in the production unit. Do we have somebody somewhere, even though it's another unit, that can actually relieve that person? Even for example, if for emergency, the person can't come to work, is the work going to grind to a halt? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the advantage is not just even in promoting, also in keeping the business running, keeping production going, either by virtue of an emergency, person needed to travel, or some very funny people who don't give notices. You understand? Say that, see, I'm not even coming. Do you understand? Do you have other people that can take up that role? So when you have such people, when a leader leaves, you understand, then there's some role-based thinking, which says that what you know now about this person, if you knew it when you conducted the interview, would you have employed the person? No. Then zero-based thinking says that person should no longer be in that system. So we do all these things to prevent having those issues later. So you sat down, because if we prepare properly before employment or before even conducting an interview, 90% of the time you will get it right. Most times, sometimes I fail too. And that's why I learned when I got burnt by employing the wrong person, that you need to prepare. So you've defined your ideal candidate. When you define your ideal candidate, when you see the candidate, you will recognize the candidate, right? So you already have at the back of your mind, the person must have this list of qualities. Must be kind, must be nice, you understand? Smart, you understand? Think on his feet, have good people skills. If you want someone to be in your sales team, in your marketing team, must have proper communication skills. You understand? The ability to convince the next person. So you have all those things there. And then cultural fit record. Then I've also talked about the kind of brand you are trying to showcase, because you are trying to match both of them. Then you now craft an effective job description. If this person resumes, now what are the things he's going to be doing? So you have a list of them. We should all have job descriptions for every role in our organization. It helps with scaling, but it also helps with forming team. Every role must have their job description written, typed out, either printed or, of course, it's soft copy now. Everybody has smartphones. You can actually share with them. So you have your written job description. And then once you have done all of this is the initial preparation. You've looked within the organization. Do you have someone who can take up this role? Or can we share these roles? Then you define your ideal candidates. If you don't find you, then of course, what's our brand? What are we showcasing? When people think of our organization, what do you want them to see? When they engage us, what do they see? What do they think about? If you want to talk about your organization, what do they say about you? That's because customers' perception is your reality. Regardless of, we had a case a while, I think a year or 2 years ago. We had a woman overnight, and then she wasn't feeling so well, so she kept calling the nurse. The nurse didn't sleep for different things. Nurse, and I know the nurse is a nice person, you understand. So I think at about 6:30 a.m. she was already tired. She's still trying to check up one or two other persons. And then I think she asked for something that was ridiculous. I can't remember what it is. But the countenance of that nurse was like, is this why you called me? You understand? And then her face was no longer smiling. And then she still went to do that thing. But you know that when the patient was going to talk to me the next day, he said the nurse is rude. When I called the nurse and I explained that this is what happened, tears started dropping from her eyes. And then she explained everything. I felt for her. You understand? And then I mediated and I went back. And then, of course, the patients actually acknowledged that this particular person actually threw out the knife. You know how, when you want to explain, you just choose the one that suits your narrative. But when I now went back to her and I said, doctor, the nurse actually, I said that yes, she shouldn't have, and we spoke about it. But then you might actually be able to understand that at that point, it's overnight when she should be at home sleeping, she's at work, it actually has a nurse. And then, of course, the nurse apologized for that, and then they settled that. But I told the nurse one thing, not immediately, because someone is crying, you can't say what I'm about to say. I told her later, and I said that I understand all of that, but now you understand when I tell you that their perception is your reality. If the patient did not discuss that with me, and probably we discharge her that morning, she will go home and say the same thing to either her husband or her friends at that hospital. There's one nurse there. She's very rude, very hostile. I don't even know, you get what I'm trying to say. And that's the truth about the game we're playing in. That's why we do the best to ensure that for every engagement with our customers, the perception they go with is what we want them to actually go with. You understand? Depending on how but of course, one of the things that those guys do excellently well, their service is top notch. Their service is, you understand? In fact, they gave me wow, back to back. And we've learned, and if you are studying well, it doesn't take a lot to actually create a wow moment for customers. I think the book, The Amazement, I'm trying to remember the book now. It talks about the moment of magic. Each time you engage with your patient or your customer, is an opportunity to create a moment of magic. A moment of magic is just answer their question, make sure they feel good while you're actually solving their problem. Now we've done all of that. Now we now decide how to source for your candidate. I've said the first one, from within. The advantage of within is they already understand your culture. So nothing really changes. You understand? You do not actually disturb the equilibrium. So that's the first. Then the other one, we talk about referrals. Ask from your staff if they know anybody who can fulfill that role. Because the other advantage of that is that your staff already they know you, they know the business, they understand the culture, and they know their friends. So they know, they'll say, doctor, I have somebody, but the person cannot work here. You understand? And sometimes someone will say, this person, doctor, you will enjoy him. You will enjoy her. Do you understand? Because this person fits as well. I've conducted an interview for a nurse before that was recommended by a matron at the time. And I don't know what happened on that day. She didn't really do well. And I told the matron, but she said, doctor, I'm telling you, this lady she might not be so good communicating. She doesn't know what